made it to Chirohustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 338 of the Chirohustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Jim Deegan, and if you want to hear about how he is following the natural laws of chiropractic, stay tuned. Welcome back. It's another episode of the Chirohustle podcast, and today we have Dr. Jim Deegan. I'm really excited to have this man on the show. I hear he's been doing great things with the MLS movement, and I've been practicing for 25 years, and just going to be a great episode. And before we jump into it, though, my co-host Luke Millette is coming in from the beautiful city of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I'm coming in from the beautiful city of Grand Junction, Colorado, and Jim is coming in from
Southeast in Atlanta.
Nice.
We got the whole globe covered: North, Midwest, Southeast.
So you're coming in from Hotlanta, and that's
ATL.
Yeah, man. It's where Life College is. If you guys didn't know that, it's down there in Marietta, Georgia, and you're not too far from it, right?
4 miles.
4 miles as a crow flies. And before we jump in, like I said, I'm just going to set some ground rules and let people know why we do what we do, and what the love of what we do and why it is. We do support free speech in chiropractic, which I think is absolutely essential to the future of chiropractic and to today. And we do support subluxation based chiropractic, innate intelligence in the profession. If you guys don't know what that is, go to DuckDuckGo, check it out. And we do protect the sacred trust with everything that we do and stand for. And if you guys don't know what that is, maybe you're on the other side of chiropractic, but we'll accept you too. Just go search for Sacred Trust Chiropractic, DuckDuckGo, or DuckDuckGo, whatever you want to say. And without any further, welcome to the show, Dr. Jim.
Oh, thank you, Brother Jim, Brother Luke. Thank you for taking time out to just sit and chat. You know, it's so much easier to take technology so we can connect and then go back and connect with our families and friends and not have to fly across the United States. So thank you. Thank you for taking time.
You got it. And I'm really excited to have you on the show and to share your story. Your colleagues will hear this, your friends and family will hear this, your patient base will hear this, and the world at large is going to know who you are now. So the best kept secret, Dr. Jim, tell us your chiropractic story and what got you into chiropractic.
Well, season 1, episode 1 of my chiropractic journey was about junior year in high school. It's probably the first time I even heard the word chiropractic. It was in the springtime. It was a little league coach, and he was a chiropractor. It didn't really resonate too much with me. It was just, okay, that's nice. What is that? Fast forward 3 years later, I'm in undergrad school, college, for biology because I enjoyed the sciences. I enjoyed learning about the body. I wanted to lean in more to the sciences and kind of explore that route with really no direction, just kind of following my other friends going to school. Let me just go to college and kind of get on the path of discovery. One of my best friends in school was so excited, and he knew somewhere inside him, he said, I'm going to be a chiropractor. I'm going down to Atlanta, Georgia. I'm going to be a chiropractor. So there it is. I hear it the second time, but this time it kind of rang and kind of landed with some force in my heart. Like, wait a second, a bell went off for a second. And I started thinking to myself, that was interesting. It really kind of stopped me in my tracks. No accident, on purpose, as we say. I was in a class at the same time, taking an elective class. It happened to be a history of medicine class. And interestingly, they kind of rewound the movie a little bit of traditional medicine, Eastern medicine, and even started to talk about chiropractic in that class at the same time, synchronistically, or at the same time that I'm hearing this. So another bell goes off. A lot of times it's in threes for me. It kind of like wakes me up like, take notice. So that summer, I guess it was my junior year in undergrad school, everybody's kind of stirring the pot a little bit, starting to look at, hey, what am I going to do next? Where am I going to go after this? So in my hometown, I start looking at opportunities. I start looking at physical therapy. I start thinking, what is that? I go into a hospital. The hospital environment isn't for me. The people there were wonderful people. Their heart wasn't in it. For some reason, because I lost my dad when I was young and being raised by my mom, I connected very quickly with my heart. And that was my compass. So I met a chiropractor through my mom. And her heart really wasn't in chiropractic. It was more of a trade. It was more of a thing to do, a job, if you will. Her husband was providing the way for her. So it just wasn't her thing. So she gave me my first adjustment, but nothing kind of rang true within me. The second gentleman that I had gone to was very passionate about chiropractic. Something got lit up within inside him about chiropractic. And he said, if you're going to become a chiropractor, go down to Life University in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, this is New England. This is Western Massachusetts, the Berkshires, kind of nestled in the mountains between New York and Boston. So that wasn't a hard sell. It was like, and you get this, Luke, going from the snow to warm weather and shorts. It's like, okay, I can lean into that. I can listen. And so I started thinking to myself, what about chiropractic? And I started just hanging out in his office. And thankfully, he kind of took me under his wing. This is one of the drivers for me with my heart to come alongside the students and kind of take them under my wing as well. Because isn't it amazing? Isn't it wonderful when people kind of help you, run alongside you, and cheer you on along the way? In a marathon, somebody can hydrate you, can cheer you, can play your song and keep you going. That was the song that kind of fueled my drive. And I applied to chiropractic school, and I got in, which is most chiropractic schools you get in, it's easy to get in, it's very difficult to get through, and it's even harder to get out and stay out. And I say this because it is very, very important that we stay together and that we don't eat our youngs, but we support one another. We leave a light on. So chiropractic started as a family, and the real heart is about family and continuing that legacy. So in Atlanta, I met some amazing people that became like an extended family. And of course, when you go away to school, you feel alone. It's a new environment. And so I was meeting some really wonderful people. But at the same time, I was in a relationship that, we're just learning about life. And back then at that age, I was learning about life. And the girl that I was with, we were learning about life. And it was not constructive. So it led to some events that landed me in the hospital. In intensive care, weakening my systems, and a virus attacking my heart, putting me on either a organ donor list for a heart transplant or a pacemaker. Something rang true within me without even hearing the chiropractic philosophy at the time that said, no, there's more to life. In that time, in silence and being in the hospital, for me, I feel that God had touched my heart and did a miracle. The next day, the cardiologist said that your heart has changed. Your heart is 100% better. But one of the things that I believe that God put within my life was I was talking to the cardiologist and the lady doing the echocardiogram. And she said, what are you doing down here? And I said, I'm going to be a chiropractor. I don't know what it is, but I'm leaning into that. And as we talked, the numbers were changing. Things were happening in my heart. So I knew that something supernaturally had happened. God had done a miracle, however, had set the stage to show me in the natural what are the next steps to lean into a healing journey. And chiropractic is the easiest, laziest first step for anyone, because to get out the juicer causes energy. To go for a walk you must have energy. For an adjustment, you lay down. The innate wisdom or the inner intelligence of the body, or the inner autopilot, if you will, is like an automatic car. It's always in drive. Just take your foot off the brake. When we take the foot off the brake, the innate wisdom of the body, the innate know-how starts to go. When a person gets up after an adjustment, they lay down. We didn't add anything. We didn't take anything away. We just released what was in there. And that's what started within me. I started making a silent commitment. I'm going to get my spine checked and cleared regularly. And I'm going to find out what this philosophy of life and living is really all about. Now, the rubber meets the road, because I was on some medication and I was very intentional to get off the medication. Not recklessly, but very intentionally. This set the stage for me.
Maybe you could take a brief opportunity here to explain to the people at home what MLS is, just in case they're unaware.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Luke. So MLS, by my mentor, before I was going to graduate, I loved the philosophy, just like my mentor, Arno Burnier. He grew up in France, near Paris, and he didn't have a great upbringing, but emerged from that a heart that when he understood the chiropractic principle of life and living, something ignited within him. And that too ignited within me, because now this wasn't a philosophy, this was a real life rubber meet the road. So he created a path. I'm thankful that he created a path, because I do better to run on that path and then pass the baton to help other people run on the path, and then we can refine that path. That path today is known as MLS. The letters stand for mastery, love, and service. It's no accident that the word love is in the center, because love is the center of all we do. Maybe you're starting to get this idea that there's so much more in chiropractic to life and living. People understand that this philosophy is amazing. However, when they lay down, it seemed to be a disconnect between what they experienced and what was talked about. The developer of chiropractic, B.J. Palmer, from his father, D.D., he said, when love and skill come together, expect a masterpiece. And this is what has been laid out for us with MLS, is a masterful path, one that has service to humanity, because there's so much more with this philosophy of life that empowers people or puts them into the driver's seat instead of letting someone else drive, and using love as our driver. Love that stands for people's greatness, not a gooey love that says, let me just get you everything, let me do everything for you. A love that says, I stand with you in your greatness. I don't know what your human potential is. I don't know what your possibilities are, but let's find out together. And so this path is a path that is an approach applied to all techniques in chiropractic to draw out the artistry. Chiropractic is so much of an artistry. The public sometimes looks and says, why do so many chiropractors seem to be doing so many different things? May I suggest to you that with the spine, it can almost be like a piano or a guitar. Some tune it by playing it directly. Some tune it by ear. Some hook technology up to it and tune it with a laptop. It doesn't matter. But the core ingredients do matter. And some of these ingredients on the path of MLS is on a masterful path is precision, gentleness, ease, the very things that marry together this beautiful philosophy and then what people experience. And then chiropractic really sells itself. I love what you're saying. I love what I'm experiencing. How can I do this more? And how can I share this with my family and friends?
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle. Well, I always thought that MLS stand for making love to the spine.
That was the original. That was the original, and it got changed because it served a purpose at the time. Because if that was making love to the spine, now check this out, okay? If we're at the grocery store, if that says that that's the health section or the natural section, what does that mean everything else is? It's unnatural, it's junk food. However, I'm not saying that making love to the spine, but at the time, the opposite of that was a not so yummy experience. It didn't match our beautiful philosophy, and it seemed violent and a violation to human beings and all that they could become. So it was to shock the profession at first. It's no longer needed to shock the profession. It's now needed to elevate our profession, which is happening. We've got some amazing people out there drawing out these path of artistry and refining the foundation. It really lays the foundation for the fundamentals of mastery, just like anything else, whether it's martial arts or Cirque du Soleil or any top level professional, you have to have a foundation to climb from. And this lays a foundation, but a loving foundation that builds from encouragement, from ease, from gentleness, from precision, being connected, being in present time, which means not just thinking about what's happening today, tomorrow, but right there with that person. That person is the most precious person in the world, whether it be your mother, your child, whoever. You bring that laser focus to that person every time to the table. And we have to train that because in this busy world, it doesn't come so easy.
Yeah, so let's talk about you a little bit more. I know that you're practicing the chiropractic philosophy. You practice the chiropractic art, and for you as the individual, what are you doing to take care of your health and your family's health during these times?
Oh, that's a great question because so step one was, okay, let me get adjusted. Let me free the energy within, because within the spine is the nerve system that connects all the other systems of the body. So what's so awesome is that chiropractic is we do one thing and everything else benefits down the line. The reproductive system, the skeletal system, on and on it goes. So it's really, truly holistic or whole body. So it's like, okay, step one, do one thing, whole body benefits. Now, how do I benefit the rest of the body? What are my drivers, or what is my road signs, if you will? Chiropractic is based on the laws of life and natural laws. So what are the basic building blocks of life? Air, water, food. Boom, we start there. Gotta have air. People live inside all the time. So what is it? Get outside. I'm always encouraging myself, my family to get outside. We call it a healthy chiropractic smoke break, right? Because sometimes if a person goes out and smokes, that's the only fresh air they get. But if a person lives in like the cubicle life, we're getting recycled air. I get it. People are like, yeah, there's chemtrails, blah, blah, blah. However, there are so many trees that give us oxygen as we give them carbon dioxide. So it's a dynamic exchange. So air. And then we can start to get into, deep breathing, and you can get into Wim Hof, and you can get into different ways, but let's just fresh air, water. You know, the city water, people do the best they possibly can, but it's an impossible task. 360 parts per million, tampon residue in toilet paper. Let's not have that, because basic chemistry is H2O only. So in nature, you're like, oh, I can get it from a spring. We can get distilled, we can get alkaline water. Let's get clean water, and let's start there. So for me, it's getting clean water, filtration. We've got some amazing springs, that cave springs, some places here that we'll go to in North Georgia, fill up the water. We've got, some filtration at the house. So spring water, fresh water, clean water. And when the green books, or the sort of the Bible, or sort of our template, if you will, for chiropractic philosophy, when it was all brought together with B.J. Palmer, Stevenson's brought together a text. And in that text, he talks about, hey, let's not fight about distilled water, spring water. Let's just start getting clean water versus the city tap water. Okay? Boom. Then we go into food, real food, not just factory, not jar, box, or can, but real food. Not too much, lots of plant-based food, animals that, are more free range or less chemicals, right? But so air, you can't live with more than minutes. Water, I don't know, maybe a week or so. Maybe you can pull it off a couple of weeks. Some people pull it off without food. But at some point, you've got to have those building blocks. But if we back up before that, you can't live 1 second without the life force or the vital energy that runs the body flowing through the spine and the nervous system. So chiropractic, clear that, keep that clear. Air, water, food. Then food, sometimes let's not do food. Sometimes let's fast. So we can add fasting, small fasts, like a daily, like 24 to 36 hour a week, maybe 3 days every month, and then seasonally a 7-10 day fast. I learned a lot of that from Paul Bragg in The Miracle of Fasting, who talked about and he used to come to the chiropractic meetings up in Michigan with DE, with Life University founder Sid Williams, and he talked about these natural laws, and they would have these conversations just like we're having. So you can do fasting, and we can go on and on from there with making sure I'm moving the body, making sure I'm stretching, trying to implement natural laws. And with my family and with the people and the clients that I serve, we never want, when I was a student, I want to fire hose them, give them a whole list. But the reality is, you give them one thing or two things and just, hey, how you doing with that? Well, I don't know. No problem. Let's just keep the trajectory of getting cleared your nerve system, and then let's keep following those other natural laws to feed all the other systems. So that's a conversation that can be expanded. But it's said that people can handle one or two things, and their success of completing that goes up. But 5 or 6 things, boom, the success rate starts to go down of them even stepping into that.
So let's change gears a little bit now. How do you see the profession as a whole changing or developing in the next 20 years or so?
Well, you know what? Just like you, Jim, and Luke are doing, my fuel for the philosophy, or going from me in the driver's seat with my health, because raising in this culture, sometimes we're raised that says, let the doctor do it. You do it. Let the doctor. Chiropractic is trying to not kick us out of the and throw us into the driver's seat, but slowly put us in the driver's seat and teach people how to drive again. When at Life University, when I was going to school, the pioneers in chiropractic were around. They were around campus. They weren't too far away. They were a drive away. Some of them are gone today. This conversation has to keep happening. It needs to keep happening because nobody can fake this chiropractic thing. It has to get into your heart, and then you fill up and it spills over. This is the only way to continue that conversation. And I love what Jim said, to nurture the narrative, to nurture the next generation. If we're gonna keep going to 20 years and beyond, we need to keep having these conversations, because just like anything, the more you're around the people that you're around, it's been said there's more caught than taught. And you catch that fire. It doesn't happen for everybody. Sometimes it takes a while. For some people, it happens sooner. But, and thank you for creating this platform where words like innate intelligence, life force, the wisdom of the body, subluxation that blocks the life force, these can be expressed because it's the true essence of chiropractic. So to water it down means that it gets washed away. But however, the trajectory that we're doing is we're watering that plant. We're putting not artificial fertilizer on it, but like an organic garden, you cultivate it. But you have some good soil and you have some good, strong roots. And that's what I believe that we, through technology and through other means, gatherings together, New Beginnings and DE and Cal Jam and all these precious people putting these events together, time and energy, and out in Mile High. That's one way. On the podcast, this is another way. In live in person, phone calls. But some of the students I was just talking to today, they're on a road trip, and guess what they do? They log on to chirohustle. They're listening and downloading this stuff. How can the magic, how can what was started with the Palmers continue if they don't hear it? So I love what you're doing, what I get to do, what my friends in MLS get to do, what we're all doing to ignite or just bring the younger generation, or those people coming close to the campfire, if you will. As elders, we get to just share, hey man, there's so much more happening in chiropractic, in your life, in your potential and possibilities. And if we stay that course, which I know and I feel that, because when BJ Palmer said, when a small, committed group of individuals come together, man, can change the world. And so I see that there's always going to be, and it happens in every profession, that some will really stick true to the core essence. But it's true in every business. If you stay focused on one thing and you fan that in the flame, it becomes a roaring fire. When you jump around and you jump fences, it now can extinguish that flame. So I believe what you've ignited, what we're igniting, is creating a brush fire for 20 years plus and beyond, because they'll get to hear it even faster now, because we don't have to fly. A person doesn't have to fly. I had to see some of my mentors in person and drive, or they would come to the campus. Now it can go around the world like that. So thank you.
Oh, thank you for the kind words, Dr. Jim. And as we start to wind down this interview segment with you, give us some websites where people can go to if they want to learn about you or MLS. What are some resources people can have?
Well, MLSseminars.com is a great way to just get a sense, look at the videos, look at the heart behind. This is an approach applied to all techniques in chiropractic to draw out the inner artistry within all of us, sharing the common ingredients. The earlier chiropractors would do techniques. Techniques created a foundation or created a sandbox for a season, for a while. The exciting part today is that we no longer need that sandbox. We can play, but nobody gets sand in their eyes, because we start to have common ingredients that create the yumminess. When people talk about chiropractic, they're like, man, I love it's like warm chocolate chip cookies for the soul. I love chiropractic. So MLSseminars.com captures the heart of that. And so that's where I would just land, because that's what I know right now. Again, chirohustle.com. What a great way for you guys to just listen to other people, land at some other websites, and start to discover, and let your heart be your compass. And I'm on the path. If I can help any of you on the path, I'm here. Jim, Luke are here to continue. And there's many other people in our profession, but I really believe, I mean, what's the podcast now? Over 3,000 podcasts, guys?
Oh, we've done over 1,000 interviews in 4 years.
Right. So listen, Anthony Robbins, when he was learning philosophy or ways to encourage people, he was like, no time wasted. I'm in the car. I'm just going to keep downloading. I'm just going to keep letting in the goodness. I believe there you go. Just stream Chiro Hustle and just start to get other precious people and their websites and their connection points. And then let's help you on the way.
Well, you're right on tune with what we're doing, and we just wanted to create more chiropractic content than any other group on planet Earth, and we just wanted to continuously put out value, and that's why this program exists, was to give more value to the profession and to give an opportunity for people that weren't in the profession or are under your care to get to know you, the practitioner, and for people that don't have any relevance of what chiropractic is to get the big idea from the practitioner's voice. And it wasn't Luke or I, who are not chiropractors, telling the chiropractic story. We were bringing the chiropractor on to tell their story, which I think is the most valuable thing in the world, is to hear someone else's relevance to why they became who they are and their love behind why they do what they do. And with that, this was episode 338 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. And Dr. Jim, it was such a blessing to have you onto the show today. And if you guys want to know more, go over to MLS Seminars and check it out. And we want you to have a great rest of your night, Dr. Jim. And thank you for being our guest.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
We'll see you next time.
I can't wait to meet you in person.
Oh, big hug.
Yeah, man.
Virtual hug for now.
For sure. All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right,
you guys.
Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.